Dear students, let us start with the next module, torsion of shafts. Introduction. Torsion occurs when a shaft is subjected to a force to twist or turn the shaft. So a force which causes a twist or turn the shaft, that generally we call it as a torque. So the torsion occurs when a shaft is subjected to a torque. This is true whether the shaft is rotating or stationary. So the best example for when the shaft is rotating, we can take it as a car engine, motor pump, lathe machine, turbines, etc. The one more, the shaft is stationary, so we can take it as the bolt as well as the screw. So the torsion will occur when the shaft is rotating as well as the stationary. So the torque makes the shaft to twist and one end rotates relative to the other, inducing shear stresses on any cross section. So the shaft the torque makes the shaft to twist and one end it will rotate relative to the other end by inducing the shear stresses. So the failure of the shaft it will occur because of the shear stresses alone. Now let us define the shaft. So the shaft are the machine elements widely used in engineering applications to transmit power from one end to another. The shafts may be a solid, a hollow, or a tapered cross section with different shapes. So this module it is concentrated only on the shafts. So the shafts which is subjected to the torsion. Now, so in order to carry out the analysis of the shafts, so it is modeled by one-dimensional torsional elements. So the one-dimensional torsional elements can be used to analyze an assemblage of circular shafts. So the next topic is the finite element formulation of shaft. So consider a prismatic rod of cross-section area A, which is subjected to a twisting moment T as shown in figure. So it is a prismatic rod which is subjected to a torque of T. So let us consider a prismatic rod having a diameter of D, modulus of rigidity is D, G. So having a length of dx. Consider the radius of the prismatic rod as capital R. If it is a hollow, I'll represent it by small r. So you consider a radial line OA on the length. Whenever a torque is applied, the radial line OA it will shift to the OB, inducing the shear strain. It is represented by nu max. Similarly, so along the radial direction, the included angle of this I'll represent it as a d theta. So the included angle of AOB along the length it is represented as nu max. The included angle of AOB along the radial direction I will represent it as a d theta. Now this rod or the prismatic rod it is represented as a 1D bar element. Let the prismatic rod is modeled as one-dimensional bar element having two nodes as shown in figure. So this prismatic rod it is modeled by two noded bar element having two nodes. Let the node 1 is located distance of x1, node 2 is located distance of x2. So the difference in x2 minus x1 that we call it as length of the element. Now along with that, let us assume that at node 1 the applied torque is T1. So due to the application of the torque, so the angle of twist I will call it as a theta 1 at node 1. Similarly at node 2 the torque is T2 and angle of twist I will call it as theta 2. Since it is a two noded bar element, we know that so the displacement equation. So let us assume that a linear angle of twist variation along the x-axis of the bar such that theta is equals to a0 plus a1x. So this is the displacement equation which we studied in module 2, in module 1. So there we used u as a displacement for structural problem. So here it is a torsion which causes angle of twist. So replace the u by theta. So theta is equals to a naught plus a1 x. Applying boundary conditions. So at node 1, the value of theta is theta 1 and node 1 is located at distance of x1. So at node 1, so the value of theta is theta 1, x is x1. Now you substitute back to this equation, we'll get theta 1 which is equals to a naught plus a1 x1. Similarly, at node 2, the value of theta is theta 2 and the node 2 is located at distance of x2. So theta is theta 2 and x is x2. You substitute it, we'll get theta 2 equals a naught plus a1 x2. Now I will subtract these two equations. So on subtraction, we'll get theta 2 minus theta 1 which is equals to x2 minus x1 into a1. So therefore, a1 which is equals to theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by x2 minus x1. Again, in the equation, I have to find out the one more constant, that is a0. Now you substitute the value of a1 into either this equation or this equation. You substitute it and you solve for this. Similarly, we will get the value of a0. So a0 which is equals to theta 1 x2 minus theta 2 x1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now you substitute the values of a1 and a0 into this equation. So therefore, theta which is equals to a0 plus a1x. So you substitute this. So on substitution, again, so we'll see. So theta 1, theta 2, theta 2, theta 1. So I will remove the value of theta 1 outside. When you remove the value of theta 1 outside, here we'll get x2 minus x divided by x2 minus x1 into theta 1. Similarly, if you remove theta 2, here we'll get x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1. So which I written here as x2 minus x by x2 minus x1 into theta 1 plus x minus x1 by x2 minus x1 into theta 2. We know that for two noded bar element, the value of this x2 minus x by x2 minus x1 and x minus x1 by x2 minus x1, these are the shape functions which is represented as the value of n1 and n2. So the value of this I'll represent as n1 into theta 1 plus n2 into theta 2. Now I will write this in matrix form. So the above equation can be written as, so theta which is equals to, I'll remove n1 comma n2, so into theta 1 and theta 2, where the value of n1 is x minus x1 by x2 minus x1 and n2 is x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x1. So the relationship between the shear strain nu and angle of twist theta can be obtained by considering the torsional deformation of the bar segment as shown in figure A. So assume all radial lines such as OA, it will remain as a straight. So during twisting or torsional deformation. So from figure, the arc length AB, which can be written as, so the arc length AB, so by considering along the length, so this it can be written as nu max into dx along the length. It is also equals to along the radial direction. So the arc length AB, it can also be written as capital R into d theta, included angle. So it can be written as nu max into dx, which is also equals to r into d theta. It is along the length direction, it is along the radial direction. So therefore nu max, which is equals to r into d theta by dx. So r is a constant, so d theta by dx. So we know the value of theta. So theta is, so this much. So the value of theta is x2 minus x by x2 minus x1 to theta 1 plus x minus x1 by x2 minus x1 into theta 2. Now you differentiate that with respect to x. When you differentiate this with respect to x, so x2 is constant, by x2 minus x1 becomes 0. Differentiation of x is minus 1. So I'll get minus theta 1 by x2 minus x1 plus differentiation of x, again it becomes 1, this it becomes 0. So I'll get theta 2 by x2 minus x1. So here we'll get minus theta 1 plus theta 2 by x2 minus x1. So this we can write as theta 2 minus theta 1 by x2 minus x1. So x2 minus x1, that is nothing but the length of the element. So d theta by dx, when you differentiate this, we'll get, So theta 2 minus theta 1 divided by n. So you call this as equation number 1. Also, for linear elastic isotropic materials, the shear stress tau and shear strain nu is given by tau by nu, which is nothing but modulus of rigidity. Also from torque equation, we have T by J, which is equals to tau by R, or on rearranging, so T, which is equals to tau into J by R, called as equation number 3. Now you substitute the value of nu max and the value of tau into the equation 3. So substitute the values of equation 1, equation 2 into equation 3 and simplification. So we'll get T, which is equals to Gj by L into theta 2 minus theta 1. Now from figure at node 1, so the value of T, it is minus T1. So the applied torque. So when you see the value of T, so at node 1, it is represented as T1, which acts in counterclockwise direction. I will take it as a negative value. So it is minus 1. So if you substitute this into the previous equation, so T, which is equals, that is minus T1, which is equals to Gj by L, theta 2 minus theta 1. I will send minus towards this side, it becomes theta 1 minus theta 2. So therefore T1, which is equals to Gj by L into theta 1 minus theta 2, called as equation number 4. Similarly, at node 2, the value of T is T2. So at node 2, the value of T2, it is acting in clockwise direction. I'll take it as a positive. Since I told, so whenever a torque is applied, so where one end it will rotate with respect to the other end. That means, so it offers when a torque is applied over here, so the resistive torque which is going to be acted the other end. So that resistive torque, it always act in opposite direction. So I have to take in negative sign. So this is positive, so this is negative. So therefore T2 is equals to Gj by L theta 2 minus theta 1. So now I will write the equations 4 and 5 in matrix form. So T1 T2, which is equals to Gj by L is constant. So I will remove theta 1 and theta 2. If you remove theta 1 theta 2 here, you will get 1 minus 1. So if you remove here theta 1 theta 2, you will get minus 1 comma 1. So 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 into theta 1 theta 2. So this torque I'll represent as a global torque T, which is equals to this term I'll call it as a K, and this I'll represent as a theta. So where the value of K, so where K is nothing but the stiffness matrix for the torsion bar. So it is given as K, which is equals to Gj by L 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So this is what? So the stiffness matrix for so a shaft which is subjected to the torsion. Similarly, we can find out the shear stress. So tau, which is nothing but nu into G. So you substitute the value of nu. So Rg by L theta 2 minus theta 1. So this is the equation for shear stress. This I will rearrange this. So G R by L, I will remove again this. So when you remove theta 1 theta 2, we'll get minus 1 1 into the matrix theta 1 theta 2. So we can represent so the shear stress in this format also. Now let us solve with a simple problem. So on torsion. So problem number 1. A solid stepped bar of circular cross section shown in figure 1 is subjected to a torque of 1 kilo Newton meter at its free end. So at its free end, it is subjected to 1 kilo Newton meter and a torque of 3 kilo Newton meter at its change in cross section. So there is a change in cross section in the given problem. So at the change in cross section, a 3 kilo Newton meter of a torque is applied. Determine angle of twist and shear stresses in the bar. Take E is equals to 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square and modulus of rigidity G, which is equals to 7 into 10 to the power 4 Newton per mm square. So this is the problem. So it is a circular cross section. So stepped bar. So it is subjected to torque at its free end and it is subjected to torque whenever there is a change in cross section. Young's modulus he has given, modulus of rigidity he has given. You have to find out angle of twist. It is represented as theta, and you have to find out the shear stresses, that is 2. Now go to the solution. So the first step is you have to represent the finite element model. So when you see this, so it is a 2 bars. So one, it will having a cross sectional area of diameter 100 mm. The other one, it will having a diameter of 50 mm. So this we can model it by 3 nodes: node 1, node 2, node 3, and it is modeled by 2 elements. So from here to here, it is a single element of uniform cross section. From here to here, it is a single element of uniform cross section. So it is modeled by 2 elements. So you represent this, you take direction, it is along the same direction. Represent the node numbers from left hand side to right hand side: 1, 2, 3. So I represented over here. So 1, 2, 3. So 2 elements. This is element 1. This is element 2. Now let us assume that at node 1, the applied torque is T1, angle of twist is theta 1. Similarly, at node 2, the torque is T2, angle of twist is theta 2. At node 3, the torque is T3, angle of twist is theta 3. So this is the step 1. Go to the step 2. So determine the elemental stiffness matrix. You have to find out the elemental stiffness matrix for each element. Go for element 1. So we know the stiffness matrix, which is given as K, which is equals to Gj by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So for element 1, so K1, G1, J1 by L1, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. You know value of G, it is a constant. So 7 into 10 to the power of 4 into, you find out the value of J1. So modulus of, so it is polar moment of inertia J, so which is given as pi d to the power of 4 by 32. So when you find out that, you'll get 9.82 into 10 to the power of 6 divided by the length of the element is 200. If you simplify this, we'll get 3.44 into 10 to the power of 9. So I will keep 10 to the power of 9 outside, and I will send 3.44 inside. If you send this, we'll get 3.44 minus 3.44 minus 3.44, 3.44. So this is the stiffness matrix for element 1. So in element 1, the node numbers are 1, 2. You represent here 1, 2, 1, 2. So find out the elemental stiffness matrix for element 2. So K2, which is equals to G2, J2 by L2, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. So substitute the value of G, it remains same, 7 10 to the power of 4. You find out the value of J. So pi d to the power of 4, 32, that is pi into 50 to the power of 4 by 32. So we'll get 613.59 10 to the power of 3 divided by the length of the element. So it is 400. Substitute this. So if you simplify this, we'll get 0.107 10 to the power of 9. So in the previous element 1, I removed 10 to the power of 9. So you remove the same number and you sign whatever the remaining term inside the matrix. So you'll get 0.107 minus 0.107 minus 0.107, 0.107. So for element 2, the numbering of the nodes are 2, 3. You represent here 2, 3, 2, 3. So this is determining the individual stiffness matrix for each element. So the next you have to find out the global stiffness matrix, which is represented K, which is equals to the sum of the stiffness matrices, that is K1 plus K2. So therefore K, which is equals to, in both the cases I have removed 10 to the power of 9. So here also I will keep 10 to the power of 9 outside. So since we have a 3 nodes, so the size of the matrix will be 3 cross 3. So represent here 1 2 3, 1 2 3. So now I have to write down the elements of this. So the element of this, it is K11, K12, K13. So I have to write the stiffness matrix element, that is K11. So go to 1 cross 1. So in the matrix, when you see 1 cross 1, so you'll get 3.44. You represent here 3.44. Again take the second one, that is 2 cross 1. So it is minus 3.44. So 2 cross 1 minus 3.44. Here nothing is there. You write down as it is. Go to 3 cross 1. So 3 cross 1, here nothing is there. Here also nothing is there. You write it as a 0. So since the stiffness matrix is a symmetric matrix, so write the row as similar to the column. So go to the next term. So that the next one is K22. So come over here, it is 2 cross 2, it is 3.44. Here it is 2 cross 2, it is 0.107. So you just add up 3.44 plus 0.107, you'll get 3.547. Again, go for 3 cross 2 element. So when you go for 3 cross 2, here we don't have, here we have 3 cross 2, it is minus 0.107. You write down here. So write the second row as the second column. So the last term is 3 cross 3. So 3 cross 3 here it is not there. Here we have 3 cross 3, it is 0.107. You write down here. So that gives the global stiffness matrix. So step 3. So determine the global force vector. So T, that is total torque T, which is represented as T1, T2, T3 transpose. So where T1 is the torque at node 1, T2 is the torque at node 2, T3 is the torque at node 3. So therefore T, which is equals to, so the torque at node 1 is 0. The torque at node 2 is 3 into 10 to the power of 6. The torque at node 3 is 1 into 10 to the power of 6. You can refer in the diagram. So this is the node 1. So there is no applied torque over here. So it is 0. At node 2, the torque is applied. That is 3 kilonewton meter. So meter is there. Everything I represented in mm. So you convert this to mm. Similarly, at node 3, so a torque is applied. That is 1 kilonewton meter. So that is 3 into 10 to the power of 6. 1 into 10 to the power of 6. So the next step, so we have to write down the equilibrium equation. So which is represented as K into theta, which is equals to capital T. So you know global stiffness matrix. So write down here the theta, angle of twist. So we have 3 angle of twist at node 1 theta 1, at node 2 theta 2, at node 3 theta 3, which is equals to torque. So T1, T2, T3, that is 0, 3 into 10 to the power of 6, 1 into 10 to the power of 6. So this is the equilibrium equation. Go to the next step. So you have to apply the boundary conditions. So when you see the diagram, since node 1 is fixed, the angle of twist at node 1 is 0. Since here it is a fixed, so the angle of twist at node 1, it will be 0. So by using elimination method of boundary condition, so we have to cancel the first row and first column. So when you cancel first row and first column, so we'll get the remaining terms. So 10 to the power of 9 into, so 3.547 minus 0.107 minus 0.107, 0.107 into theta 2, theta 3, which is equals to 3 into 10 to the power of 6, 1 into 10 to the power of 6. So the next step is we have to solve for angle of twist and shear stresses. So you solve this matrix after imposing boundary condition. So we get angle of twist. So you solve this, we'll get the values of theta 2 and theta 3. So theta 2, which is equals to 1.16 10 to the power minus 3 radian, and theta 3, which is equals to 0.0105 radian. So this is the values of angle of twist. Now we have to find out the shear stresses. So shear stresses for element 1, we have a formula. So tau, which is equals to GR by L minus 1, 1. So the displacement. So theta 1, theta 2. So you know value of G, 710 to the power of 4. You know radius, so 50 divided by length of the element. So you know value of theta 1, theta 2. You just multiply this, minus theta 1 plus theta 2. So the value of theta 1 is 0 plus theta 2 is this much. So we'll get the value of theta 1. Similarly for element 2, so total equals G into R2 L2 minus 1 1 theta 2 theta 3. So G is 7 10 to the power of 4. The radius for the second element is 25 and L2 is 400. So minus theta 2 plus theta 3, minus theta 2 plus theta 3. You solve this, will get the shear stresses for the second element as 40.85 Newton per mm square. So this is the way of solving the torsion problems. So for more problems, you can refer this book. Thank you.